any matchups, and this could be conference play or non-conference play as we get into the holiday season here, that we need to circle on our calendar right now, Robbie?
Well, I think the Purdue-Arizona game is certainly one that it has to be circled. It's going to be on Peacock. It's a Saturday. Just two elite teams. It will be like a Final Four type matchup. Same day, Kansas goes to Indiana and plays at Assembly Hall, and it's a game that Indiana needs desperately. I think that I've been to games that are non-conference games at Indiana when I was in high school. I was being recruited by the Hoosiers, and I visited for the Indiana-Duke game, and J.J. Redick went for 33. But Indiana took the lead at like the under 8 timeout on a dunk, and it's like when big-time people come in there, or it's the same with Purdue too. When I played there, I felt this because of the rivalry, but when they get teams like a Duke or a Kansas or Blue Bloods go into that building, it'll be up for grabs. If Indiana can give them anything to cheer about early, if they can get off to a good start, and I know they're coming off a really tough loss against Auburn where they lost by 30, the crowd can give them, man, I would say 10 to 15 points. They really can. So that's a big one. And then Michigan State plays Baylor. I believe it's that Saturday as well. And that's a game that Michigan State has to have. I mean, they've underachieved. They've not played well. They're reeling from the loss at Nebraska. So they need this game. They really do, which is crazy to say because they were ranked, top 4 or 5 in the preseason.
Going back to Indiana, we were at Big Ten Media Day in Minneapolis, and so many of the players are saying Indiana is one of the toughest places to play in the conference, especially the way it's configured. So interesting that you say it's a guaranteed 10 points just because of the way the crowd is. On the women's side, Megan, I'm looking here, Ohio State versus UCLA. I go back to Ohio State playing USC at the beginning of the season. They got to figure out these West Coast teams. Soon this is going to be conference play.
It's going to be conference matchup. UCLA is, if you have not had a chance to watch the UCLA women, I recommend it because they are so much fun to watch. They're balanced. They play together. I believe that whole entire starting 5 is the same team that went to the Sweet 16 last year. So they are at a high level. It's going to be so fun next year in conference play. But yeah, Ohio State, UCLA. Also, Ohio State has to turn around and play Belmont. That's an interesting matchup because 1, Belmont is really good, one of those really good major teams. But 2, Kevin McGuff's daughter is on Belmont. So he'll be coaching against his daughter in that game. So that'll be a fun one. And then the other big one, you have Rutgers, Virginia Tech. Rutgers has struggled this year. Virginia Tech playing at a high level. Iowa knocked them off earlier in the season. And that was really a game for me where I was like, okay, Iowa's still very legit, despite the fact that they lost so much. And then a fun one's going to be Michigan's playing Florida in the Jumpman Invitational. Florida just continues to always be a really solid team in the SEC. That game is, I believe, played in Charlotte. It's a fun little 4-team event that they have. So that'll be a good game. Michigan just had a huge win over Illinois to open up conference play. That was after getting beat by Toledo on the road. So they kind of need, I think, get right against Power 5 team to really have the highest level of confidence moving forward.